Hello and good day everyone. So as for today, we will learn about data types. I will show to you various data types in Java. So there are actually two types of data type. First is primitive data types and the second one is non-primitive data types. So for primitive data types, there are actually 8 primitive data types. I will show to you after this each one of primitive data type and also non-primitive data types. As for this video, I will focusing on how to use this primitive, all of these primitive data types and also these non-primitive data types. So the first non-primitive data types is byte. Okay, so primitive byte. Okay, how we want to use byte is first we have to clarify it's byte and also just say it's my number and we say as 100. Okay, this is how we clarify how to use byte. Okay, and then we print it as out tab. Okay, why I type SOUT? Because in my previous video I've explained how to print in Java, so you can see it in this card. Okay, in above video. So system.out.println and my number, because we want to print this number. Okay, and run. So when we click run, okay, 100. So this is how we identify this is a primitive data type byte. Okay, the second is primitive. The second is short. Okay, short. Okay, for byte, we can use it to save memory when you are totally certain about it. Okay, for byte, it can store up to -128 to 127 whole number. Okay, this is whole number. It can store whole numbers from -128 to 127. So we type it 100. If we type byte and we say 1 to 8, okay, and then if I click run, it cannot run because it will show an error, because byte can only store whole number up from -1 to 8 to 1 to 7. Okay, so make sure you don't put it above. So when we want to use byte, when you are certain about it. And then for primitive, short is to store whole numbers from -3 to 768 to 3 to 767. Okay, same as byte, we will just call it short and my short lah. Okay, to make it different, this is my byte. Okay, my byte, this will change it to my byte. Okay, short, my short is equal to up to -3000, so we call it 30,000. Don't forget to put semicolon, and then what we need to do is we will print it as out tab and then my short. If we click run, then run. Okay, why there's data type 15, my short. Okay, I'm sorry about that. S, need to be capital letters. 6. Okay, 3000. Okay, so this is for short. And then the next one for primitive data type is integer. Integer is usually is preferred in Java. Usually programmer will use integer. So integer will store whole numbers from negative 2 million, I don't know, 214748368. Okay, but it's quite big. But it's only a little lah. I mean, it's stored in the system. Okay, up to this number. Okay, let's copy and paste. Okay, same goes to integer, but make sure all of these because primitive data type you can see it in later video. For primitive, when we are declaring primitive data type, make sure it is lower case. Okay, for integer, int only. So this is integer. For int, my integer, and then my integer we can put it whatever we like. Okay, I think this is good enough. And SOUT and my integer. When we click run, yes, we can run it. Okay, now we will go to long. Okay, primitive long. Okay, for long, it is used to store data types that are quite big, because when we are using integer and it is not enough, so we will use long. Okay, so it is to store value very big, a whole number also, whole numbers, but it's quite big actually. Let me just copy and paste. If I type it, it's quite long. Okay. Oh yes, you can see it. I'm not even sure. Is that a million, trillion, or maybe more than that? I think. Okay, up to this. Okay. In program, we prefer doing this. Okay, we prefer doing integer. So as for long, it is long. My long equal to just put it maybe we take this number. Okay, make sure do not have comma, semicolon, SOUT tabs 39, and put it my long. When we click run, okay, we cannot run because I think it's uncompatible source code. Anyway, okay, for long, it's quite different from byte, short, and also integer. So for long, we need to put L after the numbers. Because why we need L after we put it the number? Because the compiler will automatically read as integer if we put it just like this. Because this is quite big number. So it will complain that because the compiler will see it as an integer. Okay, so we need to put it long to make sure that the compiler recognize this as long data type. Okay, so it's okay if you put it lower capital letter or uppercase, but I prefer uppercase capital letter because we can see difference. Okay, long. Okay, L. Okay, the next primitive data type is float. Okay, float also seems like long. Okay, and float also seems like long. It is stores fractional numbers that sufficient from about 6 to 7 decimal digits. Okay, this is for float. Okay, float is, we call it float, my float, and we put it as maybe 5.25 because up to 6 to 7, so we put it as 2 decimal number. And make sure for long and float, we need to put it F. Okay, we need to put L, F, because long and float we need to put F. Like I mentioned before, for L, if not, the compiler will see it as integer. So make sure you put F. If not, the compiler will complain about it. Okay, so type and my float, and it will print as. And anyway, okay, Y, Java 27, my float. Okay, I'm sorry about that. My float. Run. Okay, 5.25. Okay, this is float. And then primitive, the 6 primitive that is double. For double, it is up to seems like float, but it's difference only. It also store fractional numbers, but it is up to 15 decimal digits. It's more than float lah. Okay, so for double, just call it double and my double, and 19.99 D. Make sure D. Okay. Double. When you are quite familiarized with this all type of data type, you will know that it's only long, float, double. Only need to put it the last one. But usually we will just use integer. Okay, don't worry about that. Okay, and then my double. Click run. Yes, my double. Okay. The next one is 7 primitive booleans. Okay, booleans is also primitive data types. So as for booleans, it's only show the output of true or false. Okay, true or false only. It's not a number. It's a boolean, either true or false. Okay. Sorry about that. So as for booleans, declare as booleans and temporary booleans, and then true. If other than that, true or false. Okay, true or false. If other than that, you cannot booleans. Sorry, there's no s. Okay, booleans, and then the next one is boolean. True. I call it true boolean and boolean, and this is false boolean. This is false, and then we print it. Out true boolean, and same one is false boolean. We click run, true or false. Okay, it stores only true and false. Okay, the last one is number 8 is primitive is char. Char is character. Okay, char is character, and it store character. Character is store only single character. Okay, store only single character like A, B, C, D, E until Z. Okay, but this single character must be surrounded with double quote. With single quote. Okay, seems like other data types. We initialize it. My char, only char. Okay, for character only char. My char, and make sure to put single quote. Zack. Okay, Zack. Semicolon, and print it. My char, my character. Run and Zack. I will show to you if we put Zack A and we run it. See, the compiler will complain that at this line 40, cannot. Uncompilable source code, erroneous tree type any. Okay. Runtime exception. So we cannot put. It's a store only single character. Okay, now we have touched all about primitive. So there's 8 primitive data type. Now we will touch about non-primitive. Okay, non-primitive. Non-primitive is string, arrays, and method. So it's actually created by programmer and defined by programmer itself. As for primitive, it is already defined in the system, in the compiler. Okay, for Java, it already has been defined. Later on in other video, we will show to you what is the difference between primitive and non-primitive data types. Okay, as for non-primitive, we will focus only on strings. String is it store a sequence of strings. Store sequence of string. Sequence of characters. Sequence of character, but surrounded by double quote. Okay, it need to be surrounded by double quote. As for string, like I've mentioned before, For primitive data type, all the data type need to be declared as lower capital letter. C, boolean, char, C, lower capital letter, boolean, B, need to lower, double D. Okay, as for string, we need to put S. S is uppercase capital letter. String, my string. And make sure you remember to put double quotes in string. My name is Haris. Okay? And put semicolon. Oops. Okay, and then when we want to print it, my string and run. My name is Haris. Okay? For arrays and class will be covered in other video because that is more specific. I don't want to put it you to think about many type of data types. So just focus on this. Just focus on this. But make sure you know byte, how to use byte, short, integer, long, float, double, how to initialize the data type. Okay. So remember there are 8 primitive data types, and for non-primitive there are 3: string, arrays, and class. But for arrays and class we will focus on other video. Okay, I hope you understand on what my video is. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to other people. So thank you.